Hey guys, Geeky Guy Comics here. It's Tuesday night. That means only one thing. It is Geeky Guy Comics top 10 releases for Ncbd week number 2. Coming straight in at number 1, we've got Boom Studio Comics. We've got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. So obviously off of the back of issue 1, Tommy he faces a shocking revelation and a shocking betrayal with the Foot Clan, because it's kind of putting him in the crosshairs of the lethal leader Shredder. Now, it's also a massive event, because the Power Rangers going to be able to put their differences with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles aside and work with Tommy before Shredder basically puts a plan together that's going to end the world? Is it going to happen? Stay tuned. Boom Studio Comics. Make sure you check it out. Now we have number 2. We've got DC Black Label Comics going forward. We've got DC Comics. We have Batman 86. Now Batman 85, City of Bane, ended in an epic, amazing fashion. It was absolutely sublime. Words absolutely fail me. Now for me, this comic is only about one cover, and that is the Francesca Mattina cardstock variant cover. It is amazing. As you will see on screen now, it is amazing. It is colourful. It is fantastic. It is epic. It looks incredible. And also what you will notice on this cover is the one, the only, Deathstroke is back. Now, obviously, with the events that happened in Batman 85, Gotham City, it's a new day for Gotham City. It's a new dawn for Batman. Is he the same Batman? Is he the old Batman of old? We will live to find out. But I tell you one thing, Batman has a new plan for Gotham City, and it looks like his plans are going to be stuck in the tracks, because Deathstroke has returned with a mysterious contract that is going to have dire consequences for Gotham City. It's basically, this is Batman 86 is a whole new storyline for the Dark Knight. This is going to be big. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Make sure you get it. Number 2, from DC Comics, we have another absolutely sublime horror thriller, edge of your seat, spine tingling, hair raising comic from Joe Hill, Hill House Comics, and this is Daphne Bryan number 1. So it's set in the 19th century New York. It's based around a girl called Daphne Bryan. Her father has suddenly died. She's left with an inconsolable, irresponsible, grief-stricken mother that, to deal with getting over the loss of her husband, she's been approached by this cult that are promising her everything. They're promising her that her husband can come back to life. They're promising her that she'll be able to speak to her husband. Daphne really doesn't believe it. She's got a thing that is telling her that none of this is real. She's not going to know what to do. She's kind of set her sights on trying to solve this, but there's the cult leader called the Brother. He obviously has different plans, and based on the cover, that's, for me, that looks like him has his hands around Daphne Bryan. It's horror, it's scary, it looks insanely creepy. If you like your horrors and your thrillers, think Insidious mixed with The Conjuring, all rolled into one. This is what we're going to get. Another absolutely quality comic from Hill House Comics, Joe Hill. Now, number 3, coming up, we have Dollhouse number 3. Now, Dollhouse number 1 and 2 were gripping, they were quality, they were dark, they were disturbing, there was touches of domestic abuse in there. Number 1, we find out that this little girl Alice has been given this this dollhouse playhouse by her distant auntie. Her mum and dad aren't too keen on her keeping it. She ends up keeping it anyway. She builds a relationship, starts playing with the people in the house by saying these magical words that take her from where she is, the reality inside the house. That's her kind of getaway from the outside world of her father beating up her mum. While she's in the house starts talking to her, the characters start talking to her and let her know that the only way for her to live a normal life with her mother is to kill her dad. At the end of the comic, it ends in epic fashion. She kills her dad, smacks him over the head with a hammer. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, the dad is dead, done. Number 2 starts with, unfortunately, Alice, we know, is now in an orphanage. It's obviously a couple of years or a couple of months on since the harrowing events of what took place in number 1. She's in an orphanage. Her mum is in. We find out she is in prison because she's obviously taken it on the chin and admitted that she killed her husband because she didn't want Alice getting the blame for it. As the comic progresses, we find out that Alice's mum has unfortunately been killed, so Alice is an orphan in an orphan's house, in an orphanage, and where she's on her own, the girls don't really like her. The rest of the orphans really don't like her because she's got this dollhouse, and where Alice, again, the only way that she can get away from the miseries of reality is to go inside the house. Now, one of the girls, Jenny, she sees this happening. She hears the secret words that to get in the house, and when Alice does come out, Jenny goes in. What's going to happen? Did Jenny die? Is she still alive? Is she trapped in a house? We get to find out in number 3. Now, in number 3, we find out it's obviously a couple of years on, a fair few years on. Alice is now older. She's got her own family. She's got her own life. She's got her own daughter to look after. But one thing we do know is that the Dollhouse has not forgotten the promise that Alice made them. Alice made them a promise that no matter what happened, she would always be part of that family in the Dollhouse. That clearly hasn't happened. The Dollhouse knows where she is. The Dollhouse knows what she's up to. And it is hell-bent on making sure that she sticks to that promise. We also find out that the ghost of Jenny is hell-bent also on getting her own back. Yeah. We have number 5 on the DC comic pull list. We have Harlequin, Poison Ivy, Batwoman. This is Harlequin, Poison Ivy, number 4. Now, they are still trying to get away from the Floronic Man. They don't know what's happening. They don't know how he's still catching up with them. They thought they'd done all they could to stop him getting away. Poison Ivy cut her arm off. It grew back. He's still coming back. The only person they can absolutely rely on in their time of need is the one and only Batwoman. And even Batwoman is struggling to believe the villains, because obviously Poison Ivy and Harlequin, they're our favourite villains. They're the villains we hate to love, but we love to hate, and they are trying so hard to convince Batwoman that they need her help to get rid of the Floronic Man. Will they all work together? Will they get what they need? Will they get rid of the Floronic Man? Make sure you check this out. Now, my favourite comic for this week, it's the one, it's the only, it's the Merc with the mouth, it's the deadliest, the most deadliest assassin in the Marvel Universe. It is none other than Deadpool. He is back. Number 1 was absolutely incredible. I loved it. It was released just before Christmas. The cover for that was insane. Now, in this, Deadpool's kingdom, it's crumbling. It's on its way down. And obviously, Deadpool's trying to build a monster kingdom, but all he keeps doing is running into obstacles. He can't avoid these obstacles when they are the likes of Captain America and Elsa Bloodstone. So on one hand, he's trying to get rid of them obstacles, but then on the other hand, his monster kingdom that he's trying to put together, all the monsters are being killed by someone, some unbeknown being, no one knows. And the one thing that everyone knows in this comic, and you will work it out, is that there's someone that is killing all the monsters. The only monster he really wants to kill is the Merc with the mouth, Deadpool himself. Now, seriously, these comics, they're full of the wit, they're full of the one-liners, they're full of the swearing, they're full of all the comical geniuses that we expect from Deadpool. They are there, full show. This is the one. This comic looks absolutely amazing. The comic book cover, it's all about the gold, it's all about the red, it's all about the black. It's impactful. It's what you want from a Marvel Deadpool comic. Make sure you check it out. I will say though that parental advisory is definitely advice from Geeky Guy Comics. If you're reading this, make sure you read it with an adult. It's a sad, sad time as I speak now, because it is the end. It is the end for Miles Morales. That's it. That's the name of the comic. The End, Miles Morales. Now, it's the final Miles Morales story. It's the final Miles Morales chapter in the Marvel Universe. Will we see more of him in years to come? Who knows? But what we do know is that humanity is making its last stand in the only place strong enough to deal with the mass epic battle that is sure to ensue in this comic. And that is the only place where Miles Morales feels comfortable. And that is Brooklyn, baby. Brooklyn. That is the place where this comic takes part. It is all about the former Spider-Man getting what he can and who he can from the last remainders of humanity for a one final massive battle for civilization. This is going to be epic. Make sure you check this out. This is definitely one for the future. Now, for me, this comic looks amazing. It is the J. Scott Campbell version that I'm going to be picking up. It is white, it is gold, it is red, it is empowering, it is impactful. The pop of colour is seriously, seriously sublime. J. Scott Campbell, we all know him. He does comics amazingly, amazingly well. Nothing has changed for this one. Nothing has changed at all. So what do we know? This is Star. She is the breakout star. Excuse the pun. She is the breakout superstar from the Captain Marvel comics. She it's her first solo comic. She's flying high. It's all about her. What do we know about Ripley Reed? Is it Ripley Ryan? Sorry. So she is a flamboyant journalist. And she's an ambitious, flamboyant journalist stroke journalist reporter that was sent. She's like a Kree. She was created as a Kree human super soldier sent to kill Captain Marvel in the end of the Marvel comics. We know that didn't happen. We know how that ended. It ended in epic fashion. She failed miserably. She didn't kill Captain Marvel. I mean, seriously, who's going to kill Captain Marvel? She didn't do it. She ended up in the raft thinking that's where she was going to spend the rest of her life. Everyone was planning for her to spend the rest of her life, including her, until the Reality Stone found her, gave her powers, and she was born as Star. Now, if you think you know about the Infinity Stones and if you think you know about the powers of the Reality Stones, seriously, make sure you check this out, because it is not what you think. What you think you know, you do not. This changes the game. Make sure you check this out. Now, we have this comic, Hallelujah. It is by the one, the only, the amazing Alex Ross. Now, anything this guy touches turns to instant gold. If you've got some of the Immortal Hulk comics, you will know what I'm talking about. His artwork is fantastic. His line work, his drawing, everything about this guy is fantastic. Now, he is working on Marvel's X. Now, this is basically it's an uncanny prequel to the legendary Earth X trilogy series that come out years and years ago. If, unlike me, you haven't read it, make sure you do read it. I'm going to be reading it before I read this comic. There's not much I know about this comic, but on the front cover, he kind of looks like the Green Goblin in a yellow jumper. Marvel's X, I think his name's David. I think he's got some problems. I think he needs to find the rest of the superheroes like Captain America, Iron Man, for him to be able to save the world. It looks absolutely incredible. This is going to be one that's going to fly off the shelves, I can guarantee you that. It's got Alex Ross, it's X-Men, superheroes. This is all about, it's definitely going to fly off the shelves. It looks like a bumper comic. It looks pretty thick. It's about 69 pages long, so it's definitely going to be a good read. Now for me, this is, I love the TV show. It's from Dark Horse Comics. We have Stranger Things #1. So there's been a few Stranger Things comics that have come out over the recent months. They were kind of hit or miss. I didn't really read them, couldn't really get into them. It didn't really tie into the story. It didn't really tie into the TV series. This one, for me, is kind of along the same lines, but I'm looking forward to reading it. It's based on the fact that the Hawkins lab, Dr. Brenner's lab, has closed a few years since the Hawkins and Dr. Brenner's lab has closed. Two of the previous subjects, they're trying to build normal lives, but they get pulled back in with the fact that they find out that one of the other test subjects, number 9, she's been released. She's out in the open. She's a pyrokinetic woman that basically anything she thinks of, anything she touches will burn and turn to ash. So they need to, it's a race against time for them to get in touch with her and make sure that she doesn't do anything stupid and turn the earth to earth, let alone Hawkins burns down to ashes. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing. Those were my Geeky Guy top 10 releases for Ncbd week 2 tomorrow. Let me know what you think. If this is the first time you're watching a Geeky Guys YouTube video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you post your comments below on the comics that you're going to be getting this week. Let me know what you think. Make sure you hit that notification button so you get the ding-a-ling, ding, ding, ding every time that I come online. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing. Make sure you check me out on Instagram.